What is up, everybody? It is a lovely Saturday afternoon. It is the Stage Break Episode 7. We got Kansas, 3 separate races coming up this weekend from all series. We got an IMSA race going on right now. Actually was having a great time watching a little bit of that while I was going over my notes for this. Man, that track seems cool. Road Atlanta. I really don't know if the Cup Series could... looking at it, just watching a few laps, it seems like a very sports car-esque, more of a speedy type car, not as heavy as stock cars might be. I don't know if stock cars would really look that good there, but hey, I'm down to frickin' try. That track looks crazy. That downhill corner, man, that thing is nuts. I can imagine every driver in the field wheel hopping going down to that thing. It reminds me of one of the corners at Road America. Let me see if I can count them out. Yeah, Road America. 1, 2, 3. That third corner, maybe it is. I want to say downhill left-hander, wicked hard. Might be 5, I don't know. Regardless, that track seems crazy. I would love to see maybe the Cup Series go to Road Atlanta in the future, but we got Kansas this weekend for the big boys. It is the opening race of the round of 8. We got our round of 8 set up. First opportunity to make it to the Final Four, and I think Kevin Harvick is going to do that. Made that clear earlier this week. Would not surprise me. I want to see if this would be Kevin Harvick's 10th win. I got to look at Kevin Harvick's stats. I don't know if this would be number 9 if he won, or number 10. And then I'm pretty sure the last time a driver won 10 races was Jimmy Johnson in like 2008, 2007. So, oh man, Kevin Harvick. I gotta look up stats. Honestly, I'm surprised my browser didn't open to Racing Reference. I'm on that shit like 23 hours of the day. All right, here we go. Kevin Harvick. This would be win number 10. It would be win number 10, top 5 number 20. Not a career high. 23 he has gotten twice. Jesus Christ. Kevin Harvick is a freaking beast, bro. Kevin Harvick is an absolute animal. 58 wins. It'd be win number 59. He's almost had 60 wins. Kevin Harvick has had an absolute banger career. And it's insane how he's, since Stewart-Haas, bro, hit absolute new levels of dominance. Has never had less than 20 top 10. Since being in Stewart-Haas, he's had his least amount of top 10s he's had is 20. And then 23 is the next least, and all of the rest are above 25. That is absurd. How many races left? 4. He can tie his career best in top 10s, but he can't beat it with 29 is his max that he could get if he finishes top 10 in all 3 or 4 races remaining, assuming he does. And he can also tie his career best in top 5s with 23. That is insane, man. But it is by far the most wins he's had in a year. He surpassed that with the last one, 2018. He had 8. He currently is sitting at 9. Man, Kevin frickin' Harvick, bro. That guy needs to calm down. There's some trophies out there that could go to other people, but he's like, nah, I'll be taking all those. The starting grid, Chase Elliott on the pole. All the playoff drivers are starting 1 through 8. I believe it goes Chase, then Logano. I actually had it on my phone, but it's all right. They all occupy the top 8 spaces, and you expect it. Last time they were at Kansas, there was 11 cautions, and I don't really expect that type of chaos. I think the last 2 weeks, the drivers have had enough to deal with Talladega and a wet Roval. So I think they're going to want to try to make this as status quo as possible. They're going to want to try to run some clean laps, not feel like they're going to wreck every 2 seconds, because that is what the last 2 races have felt like, absolute unpredictability. So I think they're going to want to calm down through the most of this, try to keep it tame until they maybe have to push, because there's just been way too much going on for these drivers the last 2 weeks. I don't think they want to go through it again. Although Kansas has produced some crazy, crazy moments in the recent history, and after every single Kansas race, you'll see 1,000 tweets saying that it's the best mile and a half on the track, and that everyone was upset when they say, oh, Kansas has 2 races with the 2021 schedule, but watch Kansas be a banger this tomorrow, and everyone be like, oh, yeah, I'm so happy we get to go there twice, because I can picture something like that happening. This track normally delivers, and I'm not saying it's going to be a boring race. I just don't expect nearly as much chaos as there has been the past 2 weeks. I think these drivers need a break from all the crap that they've been being put through. With Talladega, man, that race in itself, you expect unpredictability, but I mean, the first time most of these guys have been on wets in a Cup car, literally ever. So they've put themselves through a lot of crap the past 2 weeks. They want some calmness. And we got 2 races going on today, big doubleheader. After the ARCA series was also here. Congrats, Brett Holmes, winning your championship. Hope to see him getting some truck opportunities or any opportunity in some higher series than ARCA. I mean, you're a champion. You should get some opportunities in my eyes, at least 5 starts. A team should take a risk. If Nice is going out there and grabbing everybody who's retired and their mom, they can get Brett Holmes for 5 races in my eyes. But I digress. I hope Brett Holmes finds some opportunities down the road, and if he doesn't get a truck series, I hope he competes well in ARCA next year. But the doubleheader, we start with the trucks at 4 today. Chandler Smith is actually on the pole. I want to say I bet they set it by owner standings. I would assume that's probably the only way he got it. But I hope he gets a win. Another first-time winner would be really cool. Haley Deegan making her debut. She's starting way back in the field, so she's got some work to do, trying to work her way up. But it's going to be fun to watch that. That'll probably be the biggest story of the race if the finish isn't great. But the trucks normally find a way to entertain, especially with I believe it's the... Talladega was a cutoff race, and so this is the start of the round of the last round for second to last round for every series, I believe. So a lot of playoff implications on the line this weekend. It's going to be interesting, but I do believe Haley Deegan is probably going to be the biggest story throughout the race up until the finish, and we find out if someone moves on to the Final Four. And some other interesting news going back to Nice Motorsports. James Buescher is going to be back in the truck series, former champion 2012, and then kind of just fell off the planet, which was super weird. But he's going to be at Texas driving for Nice, and Nice is owning and facilitating a team exactly the way I would. He's getting people with experience. He's going out giving people opportunities that have had him in the past, and Trevor Bayne has actually, I'm pretty sure, gotten a couple top competitive, at least a smidge. Might not get a top 10 because it's been so long, but I mean, you expect that man to, I mean, the last time I remember seeing James Buescher was either 2013, 2014. He was like expected to run a full season, but never found sponsorship. I want to say the truck number was 30, and I want to say the last time I remember seeing him was at Martinsville, and he finished top 10, and he was having a great start to the season, but again, it matters how much money you have and how much, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't a great team. So it's unfortunate how his career has kind of turned out, but it's nice to see him to get an opportunity again, hopefully it leads to some in the future, because I'm sure that if he came back in the truck series and ran a full-time season, I would think that he could make the playoffs for sure. And the Xfinity race is also coming up, going to be a night race. I think Brandon Jones is going to get that done. I feel like that was definitely where his first win came. He might actually got a second one earlier this year, but the Xfinity Series, I don't know. I wanted to go with... He announced that he's coming back in the Xfinity Series earlier this week. I'm big on drivers feeling confident in, or let's say, get a re-sign, or someone like Clint Boyer who announces retirement. Once you have some certainty for what's happening in the next season, I think that makes you a much more comfortable driver and puts you in better scenarios to race a lot smarter and better, and maybe put yourself in a more winning scenario. You race a little looser when you know that, okay, if I wreck, I have an opportunity next year. I don't have to worry about what's going to happen, or if I even get a chance next year. You know something's going to happen, and that, assuming Joe Gibbs and Toyota trusts in someone like Brandon Jones, who has absolutely turned it up this year, career year for sure. People thought he was a bust before 2020, for sure. He got that win last year in 2018, and everyone thought it was a fluke, but now he's shown that he can actually drive and been a seriously competitive driver most of the year. So I think he can get it done. I don't know what Toyota is too deep in their driver lineup through all 3 series to move Brandon Jones in right now. I mean, I think it's fortunate that Hamlin, Truex, and Kyle Busch is going to be around for a while, but someone like Truex is probably on definitely the latter half of his career. I want to say he's over 40, so I can't picture Truex being around for more than 3 years, I'd say. So they got a good development program coming up, and if the Michael Jordan team gets a second car in the future years and has an alliance with JGR or something, they can put Brandon Jones in a car like that and have him do the Christopher Bell type method, or Eric Jones is in the 77 for a year, that type of thing, to move him into the Joe Gibbs car. Christopher Bell doing it exactly that way this year too. So that's kind of been their method of prepping their young stars for future Cup experience. So I expect it to go down similarly like that for Brandon Jones. And it's good to see someone who you thought was down and out. I thought Brandon Jones was a slight bust too. That man was the Stenhouse of the Xfinity Series for a little bit, like would just wreck. You'd see him wreck all the time, and you'd be like, man, why is this guy still in the series? Someone else could be in that car doing something better. And he came out and said, you know what, I'm going to put it together. I'm going to pull together a season this year. And Brandon Jones in the Final Four would be a great story. I think it's absolutely doable for him, and I hope to see it happen. Another couple drivers got announced that they're coming back for 2021, Tommy Joe Martins and Brandon Brown. Very happy about that, keeping some small teams alive in the sport. And Tommy Joe, I'm very happy for him. He's had one of the most noticeably unlucky seasons, getting caught up in a wreck for a long stretch of the summer, I remember. So it's nice to see him back. He's a good guy in the sport, has a good voice on Twitter, and I think the fans like him on there too. And Brandon Brown, man, that's great to have. I hope he acquire some true and honest sponsorship. Not saying that team can't get any, but you want to see a bigger brand come on and really support that team and make them a race-winning team, because I can't say they're a race-winning team unless they're on a road course or a super speedway right now, but they have top 10 speed for sure. So getting some real money in that squad and some more R&D and information and anything to make that team better is huge, and I hope it excels for Brandon Brown and he can even get some Cup experience. Hopefully, that'd be really cool to see him get a Cup ride or a Cup start even in a smaller team. Just to see him in the field would be a really cool story. I had a friend that went to Coastal Carolina College with him. I don't really know if they knew each other or met each other at all, but it's just interesting to think that, hey, one of my friends went there. So I have a reason to root for him, Another announcement that I can't wait for, AJ Allmendinger and Kaulig have something coming up their sleeve that I don't know what it could be. I would think that AJ could win a Xfinity Series championship right now. He'd make the playoffs in a heartbeat. But it's a matter of, does he want to? I don't know if he wants to run a full season, or if Kaulig is moving up to Cup or something along that lines. I know that the Spire situation with Kaulig is real, and probably could happen if they kind of create an alliance or whatever, or Kaulig is the quote development program for someone like Spire if they decide to actually want to become competitive with the two-car team and get some real sponsorship and money going. Because before Justin Haley won that Daytona race, I couldn't tell you Spire was going to be in the series for more than, if they're in the series by 2022, that I'm pretty sure there was just like a 3-year plan for Spire. Like this was a business opportunity. This wasn't because they loved racing and wanted to stay in NASCAR, but they got the payout for the Daytona win was probably, if not $1 million, well close to it. So imagine getting that bag for a team that paid $6 million for the charter. That's already a sixth or a fifth, or I don't know math. It's a fraction of your money that you just won back. A lot of it in one opportunity, in one race. So, and then I hope that AJ Allmendinger gets some Cup races next year. I've said this before, at least on a road course, and I hope Kaulig does have a Cup quote car, right? The 16. They ran it at Daytona this year, so they can field the one Cup car for a couple races. That would be sick. I hope that's the announcement. I really can't wait to hear what that has to be. Don't expect it to be this week or before this race, but maybe early next week if we can get some news. That would be really sick. I'm really excited to see what happens there. But for bigger news that happened this week, Kyle Larson officially applied for reinstatement. I was going to record this podcast yesterday, but I'm like, oh man, I feel like nothing's really happened. I wanted to kind of wait. I wanted to wait out the day, see if anything else came out, and boom, Kyle Larson applies for reinstatement. I'm like, perfect thing to talk about. Perfect story. So it was about time. I think that the people have been saying Kyle Larson deserves a second opportunity for months now, and I think he might have been waiting for the right time to say, hey, I feel like people are starting to accept the fact that I'm doing things the right way and I'm not doing this for clout, and I'm trying to just be a better person at the end of the day, and I think people absolutely respect it. And I think maybe he felt it was time to apply, and NASCAR felt it was time, or NASCAR might have been, maybe he has tried, I don't know, if he officially applied for reinstatement, it would have been announced earlier. But I think he felt comfortable with the decision, and I think he might have felt that NASCAR was comfortable with the decision, because if he did it earlier, NASCAR might have said no right away. Or maybe there's an announcement on the horizon and a team has reached out to him, and then he's like, oh, now I can apply for reinstatement, which probably is the case as well. I'm sure Hendrick has been the biggest rumor forever. Stuart Haas also is an option, but I, again, don't think that'll happen. That'd be disrespectful to Chase Briscoe for sure. But I expect Kyle Larson news, if not next week, before the Phoenix race for sure. I think we'll know if Kyle Larson will at least be able to race next year, not necessarily have a confirmed ride. But I agree. I think Kyle Larson does deserve to be in the Cup Series next year. It was fucked up what he did, but I like reading in on his essay that he wrote. I don't know if I could use essay, but it was a letter, we'll call it, and what he's done, or how his last couple months have been like, or his 2020 basically. And you don't feel bad because you know he fucked up and you deserve the repercussions, but you're like, damn man, this guy lost everything in a heartbeat. And it makes you think like, wow, like how quick things can happen, and how he was quote on top of the world in 1 second, and then another second he's at the lowest of lows. And hearing him learn from this experience and actually going out and try to educate himself is inspiring in some ways. And you hope that other people that make the same mistakes in the future or have in the past can do similar things that Kyle Larson has done, and try to just make yourself a better person at the end of the day, and not worry about or not care about what people say, or you have to publicize, oh, I did this to make myself better. Kyle Larson just went out and tried to make himself better and didn't care what other people thought. He clearly wanted to, he cared what some people thought. I shouldn't say he didn't care what people thought, because he absolutely did, and it affected him in many ways. But he wanted to do it out of the kindness of his heart and out of the honesty of his heart, and not for the money or for the fame or the clout or the recognition. He just wanted to go out and do it, and at the end of the day try to make himself better. And you got to respect that. I think the way he handled it after the fact was the utmost professional in my eyes. He deleted just about every social media he had, and I think that was more of because people hated him and he just wanted to get away from it. But at the same time, I think it was the right move to just kind of go off the grid for a minute. Go off the grid. Figure yourself out. What are you going to do to fix the situation that you put yourself in? And I hope that it's a redemption story that people respect, and people won't. If he wins next year in a Cup car, people aren't going to be like, oh, he doesn't deserve this win. He shouldn't even be in this. I hope that it's with open arms, Kyle Larson can come back with the respect of his peers and the fans and the owners and NASCAR itself. I really hope it works out for him. I hope it works out for the sport, and I honestly hope he's in a Hendrick car. I think that's great for the team to have a driver like him come in, and people have been saying that he should have to start over. He shouldn't make a bad decision, have repercussions, not be in a car all year, and then come back and be in one of the best cars that you can. So I know that seems kind of skeevy and not the snaky and not the way to go about things, but it's business. And if you're any team, you see Kyle Larson out there and you know Kyle Larson can win in a Cup car, why aren't you going out and try and sign him if NASCAR is going to let him drive? People make mistakes in life and people fuck up, and Kyle Larson is a young when it comes to the grand scheme of life. So a young person made a mistake that he is paid for, and I think everyone deserves a second opportunity when it comes to something. And I hope Kyle Larson doesn't squander this one, and I don't think he will in the same way that he did the first time at all. If he fucks it up, it'll be something different, because I don't think he's going to make this mistake twice. I think he has absolutely learned his lesson, and that is the point of this all, learning your lesson, and I think Kyle Larson has done just that. Would have been an early retirement if he hung up the fire suit, though, said, fuck it, I'm out of here, I ain't coming back. But good for him for trying to just make yourself better. The more recent retirements, it feels like everybody, the past, since Jeff Gordon, once a year, it feels like you lose one of the guys you've been watching your whole entire life, which sucks. But it's how sports work, and it opens the door for younger drivers to come up. Jimmy Johnson and Clint Boyer are two sad ones, because they're two people that personally I love to see race every weekend. I don't think anybody dislikes Clint Boyer. I know people hate Jimmy Johnson because he's the GOAT, but that's their own fault for not liking greatness. But people don't hate Jimmy now. People love that guy. I think everybody wants to see him win. There's not one person that watches NASCAR that saw the 48 win and would say, damn, because that would just be the greatest story. I mean, my dad had been a Jeff Gordon fan his whole life, and there was a small rivalry in the house because I was a Jimmy fan, and he would threaten to stop watching every season he won the championship, and he still watches today, so that was a lie. But when Jeff Gordon won at Martinsville, I was just as excited as Jeff was. That was really cool to see a career that you respect and a legacy end in a way that it should have, and I pray that it happens for Jimmy at Martinsville, riding that scheme that I absolutely missed out getting my name on it, which sucked. I thought I could do that the other day, but then it got announced that it was already out and the names were already on it, and I was like, fuck, I missed my opportunity. That would have been sick to have my name on that. I hope other people had the opportunity to and actually did get your name on it. And whoever put the dick on Jimmy's car, classic move, absolutely classic. I hope Jimmy saw that tweet that there's a penis on his car. That's hilarious that someone drew that and that ally said, yeah, we'll let this on. But who's next to retire? If I had to pick one to go, I'm saying Ryan Newman is probably the most logical because he has been the same rookie year as Jimmy, in his 40s, in a team that has struggled, and Newman has had one of the craziest years in NASCAR, but hasn't been the most competitive. He'll probably come back next year, and I could picture Newman racing into his 50s just being, like, he could probably be a 15th place car until he's 50. So I think that's what they're banking on. They have a experienced driver that can finish in the top 10 and have respectable races and finish on the lead lap most of the races. So I think that's why Roush is hanging on to him. But if it be someone like him or Kurt Busch, I think would go out next. Maybe Martin Truex. I don't know what his future plans look like. But he's still in championship winning. Like, Kurt Busch and Martin Truex can win a championship this year. So I can't picture them hanging it up after next year. So Ryan Newman would be my pick to go next. If Kurt Busch were to win the championship this year, though, I could picture him walking off into the sunset and hanging it up. I think that would be a very cool thing. I don't know if we've ever seen that in NASCAR. I'm trying to think of a driver who won a championship and retired after it. I don't know if that's happened, but that'd be sick. I'd really pull for that if that were the case. I think that'd be a really cool story. I think Kurt won a second. What more do you have to prove? I do believe that he has actually gotten re-signed for that car next year, but and that'd be so sick. When has a number one car ever won the championship? Has that been a thing? I think that'd be really cool because in other motorsports, if you win the championship, you can kind of reserve the number one for next year. So, that'd be. I don't want that tradition in NASCAR because I like numbers being with teams, but that'd be really cool to have your champion be number one. I think that'd just be an interesting little thing to see. But yeah, Ryan Newman, and it sucks that they don't have an Xfinity program to really push a driver up through the ranks, and I'm trying to think of there's only 2 Ford drivers, and if Chase Briscoe were to get hosed from that Stewart-Haas Racing by Larson, that's a ride you could see him maybe fill going to Roush, but I don't want to see that. I think Chase Briscoe could be competitive in a Roush car, as he could be competitive in a Roush car the way John Hunter is competitive in a front row car. Outdoes the team speed, but isn't going to be out there. I mean, Chase could probably win a race in the 6 car. I could assume he could get some solid top 5s and put himself in position for sure. But, yeah, I don't know who would fill the 6 car. I'm trying to think of a driver that they could pull up. Maybe like someone like Priest, I feel like they could do. Or maybe they want someone who's in a Ford in the Truck Series or how they go about that. Maybe a DGR. Maybe they're going for Haley Deegan or something like that. Tanner Gray has been doing great in the lower series. Someone like Ben Rhodes, who's kind of moved through his entire career, started in the Xfinity, moved down to the trucks, and been actually having a pretty decent year. Underrated career in my eyes in the Truck Series. Does need a couple more wins under his belt to kind of solidify himself to be a future star, but a very, very solid driver that I think could use an opportunity or so in the Cup Series for sure. But I'm so excited about these races this weekend. I'm actually going to set my Draftkings lineups live on the podcast for all 3 races. I'm going to start with the trucks, and I want to get them in now so I don't forget. I'm only going to do dollar lineups because I'm a cheap ass, and I don't want to bet a lot of money on a truck race. But if you do DraftKings, do single entry contests, because I feel like it gives you the most. You're playing literally one per. So if there's 40 people in the contest, you're only playing 40 people. If there's 2,000 entries with you could be playing 40 people that have 20 entries apiece, and I feel like that's kind of stupid. If I'm only putting in one lineup, I want to play other people who are putting one lineup in, and I like doing the ones where like top 5 finish, or if you finish in the top 5, you get like a certain amount of money. Top 5 win $20. Ooh, top 4 win 5. I'm gonna do the $20 one, or the one that wins $20. All right. So who do we want in the Truck Series? Who do we think is gonna run well? Johnny Sauter been having an off year. Matt Crafton wouldn't be a bad pick. Chandler Smith. I like Trevor Bayne. I might pick Haley Deegan just for the fuck of it. I'm actually going to. Facts. Okay. Haley Deegan, Trevor Bayne, Tanner Gray. People been liking Derek Kraus on Twitter today. Ben Rhodes was just talking highly. Ben Rhodes could pick him. My name's Ben. I'll pick Ben Rhodes. Facts. Todd Gilliland, big fan of him. Sheldon Creed been lighting it up. Zane Smith would probably be a great pick. Austin Hill, another go. Parker Kligerman, holy shit. Facts picking you, brother. It's because you're starting. Norm Benning for the squad, for the boys. Tate Fogelman. I want to get some cheaper drivers. Try to get some. David Gravel. David Gravel. Lassard coming off a dub. Top 2. Ryan Truex. Timothy Peters in this race? Oh, shit. I'll pick Timothy Peters. That's lit. All right. David Gravel. I'll put David Gravel in right now. Who can I afford? 1 pick left. Matty Crafton. Chandler Smith. Derek Kraus. I'm going to pick Matty Crafton. All right, lineup for the truck race goes Matt Crafton, Haley Deegan, David Gravel, Parker Kligerman, Timothy Peters, and Ben Rhodes. Submit. All right, Xfinity Race next. Done. Xfinity. I'm picking Brandon Jones. I already said I'm picking Brandon Jones. I want to say Cindric would be a good pick, but he's probably expensive as shit. I don't really want to do that. Let's see. I'll do this one. $1 one. Xfinity. Chase Briscoe. Allgaier expensive. Chastain. Where's Brandon Jones? Brandon Jones. I love picking Alfredo. He's a top 10 machine. I actually think I just did. All right. Who else we got? Timmy Hill. Jeremy Clements. The thing about picking Xfinity races, there's like a certain select drivers who are going to finish in the top 20. And it's a matter of picking that 1 or 2 that are the outliers that actually do really good and get you some solid points. I've picked Josh Williams a couple times, and I've always picked him in the wrong week when he doesn't do as well. So I'm going to stay away from that. Jesse Iwuji in the race. Good for him. Jeffrey Earnhardt, not a bad pick, but I don't like that at all, actually. I don't like the Jeffrey Earnhardt pick right now. Let's see. Brandon Brown, Tommy Joe would be, I talked about them. Should pick them. Hemrick, I love. Michael Annette, Haley. I feel like Chastain's a decent pick, but he's really expensive. Timmy Hill's expensive too, man. I don't really get that one. I like Timmy Hill, but I don't know how well he finishes in Xfinity races. Austin Hill, I'll pick Austin Hill. I like Austin Hill when he runs a doubleheader. I feel comfortable whenever he's running a truck race that he comes up and runs an Xfinity race. Austin Hill, Alex LeBay had a great race last week. Tommy Joe, Vinnie Miller, Joe Graff, Jesse Little. Where's Vargas? I'll pick Ryan Vargas if I can find him. Ryan Vargas, 73, starting 17th. You actually had a pretty good race. All right, we're picking Tommy Joe. I'm going to pick Vargas. Where's Vargas? Ryan Vargas, and we can afford Herbst, Michael Annette, Hemrick, Sieg. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna pick Hemrick. I'm a fanboy. I got a decent amount of money left. Let's fix this lineup up a little bit. Who do we want to replace? Got 75. I can get Snyder, Brandon Brown. I'm gonna pick Brandon Brown. Talked about him today. All right, submit. All right, Cup lineup. Last but not least, Cup Series. This is my favorite one. I should probably pick Jimmy because he only has 4 races left, and I love that man. Come on. Why are all these things so mad expensive? All right, here we go. Select driver. Kevin Harvick, big facts. Jimmy Johnson is kind of expensive. Matty D, I like this weekend. Seabell, Stenhouse, AD, Bubba, Buscher, Kenseth. Kenseth scares me. I don't know if I'll pick Kenseth. McDowell, Suarez. Yeah, we ain't picking anyone down there. All right. Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch would be an interesting pick. Kyle Busch intrigues me. I like the Bowman pick. Let's see if we can get a cheaper guy right here. Bubba, Buscher, Kenseth. I'll pick Kenseth further. Austin Dillon, Stenhouse, Seabell, Custer. Christopher Bell been having a good couple weeks. I'll pick Christopher Bell. So for the Cup Series lineup, we got Christopher Bell, Alex Bowman, Matt DiBenedetto, Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth. Submit. All right. Been a great episode of the Stage Break. So excited for the races today and tomorrow. Thank you if you listen. You're the best. Hope you have a great day. Ben the NASCAR guy.